Hello everybody, welcome to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, and this is the front kitchen Heritage Glen behind us, or Hemisphere by Salem. It's two names for the exact same thing. And this is a model that I think has really stepped up and upgraded nicely with the 2024 updates that they've applied to this. Like the new nose cap, the new windshield on this looks absolutely awesome. Because one of the things I want to point out here is this is what's a full Heritage Glen. It's not the little brother Hyperlight model. Now, for the most part, they're almost identical, but that different nose cap is one of the signature features of this. Also, the fact that this RV has an Olympic Queen bed slide in the rear bedroom with stackable washer-dryer prep. That is something that you just almost never find in the world of travel trailers, at least nothing in this size. Usually you've got to get up to the, the big like 40-foot, basically flat deck fifth wheel trailers to accomplish that. And you're getting a lot of those big features here in what I think a lot of people would perhaps mistakenly reference as a mid-level product, because we've got things like a motorized fiberglass roof cap on this, capability for dual air. The underbelly's heated, enclosed. It has holding tank heaters. It has a radiant barrier. This does not ride on a Lippert chassis. It's on a Norco frame. There's no floor heating vents. It's all cabinet ducted. They're carpetless throughout. There's a lot of really good, really smart content features that go into this one. But compared to some of the other front kitchens that are out there, like by Rockwood or Freedom Express or whoever, this one is a little bit longer because it gives you that full giant rear closet with the washer-dryer prep, which even if you're not going to do the washer-dryer, which frankly most people are not, the fact that it has all that extra storage in there is awesome. And with the VersaTilt bed, sucking the bed up off of the floor plan, creating tons of space, you can do some RV yoga in the back of that thing. So first of all, big thank you and welcome back to all the regular returning members of the RV Nerd Herd. I spend a ton of time down in the comments section. I see a lot of familiar names and familiar faces pop up, and it means a lot to me how much time you choose to spend and take out of your day to hang out with old Uncle Josh here. So thank you, folks. Now, I've mentioned when the video began, this is a full Heritage Glen, not a member of the Hyperlight series, the, I guess, technically Little Brothers. And really, they're more the same than it's kind of like Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper. It's sort of one of those conversations. But on the inside, one of the few differences that you'll see is that in the full Harry Glen series, as I love to call them, they have a barreled ceiling. And it's not severe, but it just kind of adds a little pop to it, you know what I mean? A little pop secret. Now, 15,000 BTU air conditioners are what they use pretty much across the board. This floor plan is capable of accepting a second air conditioner as desired. While we're talking about heating and cooling, one of the things that you won't see, at least in the floors, are the heat ducts. They actually come through the cabinet sides wherever they have the opportunity. Every now and then a manufacturer who does, I guess we'll call it like floor ductless heating, they do have to run one through the floor just because there's no cabinetry to hide things through, but if I run into that, I'll let you know. They put a big TV in this sucker, and we're at a bit of a wonky angle. I'm sitting at the theater seat right next to the cross breeze window, by the way. The TV can pivot around for some easy viewing, although it is up high. I almost kind of wish it would pivot up and down a little bit. Full viewing window in the entry door. It is prepped for a privacy shade, though it's not necessarily including one. And one of the things here with that new front cap and windshield design, it looks and feels very big and spacious in here. Whether it's all the window coverage, the generally light color palette, or that front window, or the barreled ceiling, or maybe some combination of all those things together, it doesn't feel cramped in here. Oops, sorry, I'm running into the walls left, right, and center on this RV. But again, being fair, it does lack campside windows. You can't just flip-flop this floor plan because of the position of the entry door, but campside window coverage on front kitchens, that is kind of a rare feature. That is a closer to 11 than 10 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge there, and it's a small oven, but at least they're including an oven. A lot of manufacturers have peeled that out. But check out the prep space here. I've talked about this in some of my other videos. People who make front kitchens, on the left side of the countertop, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll make like a vertical pantry from the ceiling all the way down to the floor. And I get that it kind of makes sense to have that there. Like, it feels right. But when you take it out and when you see later that it already still has a big dedicated pantry, and you get the symmetry of the front end of this with the power outlets that are right down by countertop level that are easy to reach with all the available prep space, for me, this makes more sense. I like what they've done here. That skylight also helps open up the area quite a bit. Makes everything look and feel nice and big in here. The windows, I call them the square flow windows. I think we all, if we're calling a spade and a duck, we all kind of first saw them introduced with Brinkley RV, but I'm not knocking anybody else that does them. I think they look good myself, and there's some other benefits to them, like the way that they blot the sun out is nice. Now, the booth dinette's standard here, but if you want a table and chairs, good news. That is available, so that is something that you can get on these. And it kind of looks like traditional shag carpeting on camera, but that's that marine woven slide floor stuff. I do believe if you prefer a hide-a-bed instead of the population-controlling theater seat over here, you can get that. I kind of don't hate I like gadgets and gimmicks. I like the storage pocket here. I like those USB plugs. It kind of reminds me of like the center console of the SUV that my family has, you know? I like the two-fisted drink holders for each side over here. That's a nice little touch. That's a good American class feature right there. But if you don't like the population controller, the center armrest is actually a separate item that kind of just connects to the two recliners. You actually could remove it and make a love seat, or rearrange it if you wanted the console just off to the side, I suppose. Now, again, let me slide over. I'm going to slide into and sit at the dinette. So, like, if you're over here and somebody is at the sofa, it's still fairly social. You can still kind of chit-chat with one another. But again, the TV's up a little bit high, and that TV can pivot around for easier viewing. We got the Tootsie Toast and Bunion burner down below there. It's also got a mirror finish on it, so you can see what your toes look like after you've walked around the campsite all day. Delicious, by the way. That's such a weird way to describe that. Anyway, popping all that stuff open, taking a look in the pantry. Something I didn't have a good angle to display for you on screen in that pantry is the fact that it actually has a set of power outlets in there, so that if you want to have a little appliance station in there, or a little boot drying station or something like that, you can use that pantry for more than just plain dry storage. I thought the inclusion of some household outlets in there was really, really smart. I love that little. There's a vertical, I would normally call it like toothpick cabinet, that a lot of manufacturers will just make a cabinet door. How they made it like a double vertical drawer thing that like slides open to you like a motorhome. I'm a sucker for that kind of content in RVs. I think that stuff is really smart, really cool. It always gets my go. And under the sink, there was really good wastebasket space there. Now, obviously, if you go at the table and chairs, you're not going to have the sleeper booth kind of function. But, hey, to each their own a little bit, you know. Working our way around here, again, the wall-hugging theater recliner. One of the nice things about that is, as the name implies, you don't have to wrestle the thing away from the wall. And the reason I point that out, there's still a lot of RV manufacturers that do not use wall-hugger seating in their RVs to save a couple bucks. I also want to point out the location of the converter panel, the fuse box, all that stuff. Easily accessed even when the slide is closed. Some front kitchens I've run into, they will install that kind of in between the two slides, and Lord help you, if you pop a fuse, you're going to have to manually override a slide. I've done it a few times in my life. It's not impossible. It sucks. It's a rack and pinion slide like this. For basically, you're going to have to crank that thing manually around. I don't know what the ratio is. A lot of times. For like 1 inch of extension, the crank to extension ratio is not fun. I'll just say that. Porcelain foot flush stool here, and you might notice I'm not just like, oh wow, thumbs up. I'm sort of lukewarm on it, and the reason being, it's where these doorways are located. They were. I fit between them, but I'm although I got a chubby belly, I'm kind of a scrawny dad bod nerd. if you're a wider individual, I think that could be not a fun experience for you. And I think I forgot to get you some bonus footage showcasing the nice linen storage here. And I'm going to give them some bonus points that they didn't leave that open face. I think that's actually kind of nice. Not a ton of countertop space, but it is deep enough that you do have some space back there to kind of be like toothbrush holders. Now, where this becomes an all-stop for some folks is the radius shower. Because with their barreled ceiling, I was pleasantly surprised at how nicely I was able to fit into that. But as you can hear, it's a little bit of an elbow bonker depending on which direction you're facing. You got to kind of, keep that in mind a little bit. We got a couple of rhino beetles up here hanging onto the towels for us right there. I like that they did something with this space, though. I think one thing I would do also is I'd go to like Target or Home Goods or something like that, and I'd get one of those like wire mesh rack stands, and I would find a way to secure it in this area. And I'd use that as the holder for the butt napkins, as it were. Now, what we're looking at here today, I think is actually only a 30 amp service example of this, but you can get this 50 amp service. You can get it prepped and ready for a second air conditioner. I don't see where any of the wiring and stuff is done up in there. So kind of keep that in mind a little bit. One of the more interesting things on this one right here too is the camera got wonky. I'm reaching around the corner blind trying to find this switch, is the inclusion of the VersaBed feature. So what this is right here is it's a little 12 volt actuated kind of thing, and it's not a Serta sleep number. You can sit in it and adjust your bed position. You're not supposed to be occupying this while it's going up and down, so keep that in mind right there. And when you lift to get to the storage below it, you really want the bed in the down position to do that. Otherwise, you're probably going to overstress one of the struts. But what's awesome, when you get that up out of the way, look at the wide open space you get in this rear bedroom. Suddenly, when you're stuck inside on a rainy day, especially if you choose to slap yourself a TV over here, you have yourself an awesome little, rear private entertainment station. And here's another really cool thing about rear bedrooms that I don't think they get a lot of credit for. You are further away from the foot traffic at an RV park that normally takes place up by the nose of the RV. Classic RVs almost always had rear bedrooms, and then that kind of went away when slide outs started putting too much weight up on the hitch. So we started getting front bedrooms and rear everything else. A rear bedroom like this is kind of hard to find. Now, from the factory, this has a 66 by 80 Olympic queen mattress, which is a real thing. But if you notice, there's still some extra space left beside it. I think if you wanted to go with some kind of probably RV king, you'd be able to do that. And I'm not going to call these CPAP stands because my understanding is you shouldn't have CPAPs above your head. 2, I don't think a CPAP will fit up there. And 3, there's no power outlets up near them. I do think that's a nice little place to like put your watch or your wallet or your spectacles, as it were, spectacles and watches. In case you're curious about power outlets, those are actually mounted, I don't know if you noticed, right on the base of the bed over there, which is a little uncommon, but they're there and they're useful, you know what I mean? So dropping that bed back down, giving you a look at all the other kind of little detail features here, like the storage under the bed. You can access the storage under that headboard area from outside as well. There's a baggage door under the headboard portion of the bed. So you kind of do have a little bit of a split there. But one of the main things on this RV is that they extended the RV a couple feet to do it, but giving you that full rear wall closet with stackable, capable washer dryer prep, or just maximum closet space is how probably most folks will use it. You can really pack this thing heavily. I will say though, there's parts of this floor plan that are nice just in general or for travel, like the wide stance stability axles, but I would say that I personally feel like this floor plan is best used at a destination, and it's sort of what I call a portable park model, where it's not a hard RV to like move around, but it's not so big that it's hard to move around, but it's an RV that is best used when you get there. Now, the bedroom door, you may notice, does not have a window, but considering that's a privacy thing in the bedroom, personally, I don't hate it. That doesn't bother me. And just in case you were curious, because you haven't seen it on camera yet, the black circle in the bottom right, that is our bedroom heat vent. So yes, it does have bedroom air. It does have bedroom heating. So kind of keep those things in mind. One of the hiccups on this RV, though, is when you close up the slides, it becomes a two-stager. Because as you see right here, the slide and the entertainment center, well, they become very well acquainted when you close things up. And unless you're Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four and you're made out of rubber, I don't think you're probably going to squeeze your way through there. Now, to get to the bathroom in transit, you do have the other entry door, but these are both rack and pinion slides. And that comes with both advantages and drawbacks. Nope. And so one of the cool things about a rack and pinion slide, if you want to open it only partially to be able to slide back through there, you can do that. One of the downsides of a rack and pinion slide is they are not engineered to sit in and be occupied while they're retracted, only when they're fully extended. And then in this floor plan, that includes the bed. So once again, this is an RV that I think is best used at parks. It's not so big that getting it hauled around is a hard thing. It's not the smallest RV by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely one that's really nice for getting there. And with no slides on the campsite of the RV, you get 100% of your patio awning space not eaten up by any slides. And if we're going to talk towing, I will say I'm not super in love with the idea of pairing this up with a half-ton. When you're approaching a 10,000-pound GVW, and you've got this much length and the hitch weight specifically, it's not that no half-ton can handle it. It's just that generally speaking, I feel very uncomfortable pairing this up with the word half-ton towable. I think gas or diesel, I think 3/4 ton is probably the better, safer, smarter option. Now they've, for the 24 season, they've flipped over to these what I call square flow windows, and obviously they're heavily tinted. But if you notice that lighter color silver strip in there, that's the backside of the nightshade. They actually put a radiant blocker backer on their nightshades to help keep the sunshine out, which I think is awful nice. Now, it's not a full front pass-through. That is one of the hiccups with front kitchen travel trailers, is they sometimes, with some builders, they lose the front pass-through compartment, and that is the case on this one. So this little side saddle cavity right here, it's basically just a little battery disconnect, and this is where your solar charge controller is located if the solar option package is included. Now, the solar option on this is a 200-watt panel on the roof, a 30-amp PWM charge controller that we just saw, and a basic wet battery, lead-acid battery, up on the tongue of this sucker right here. So, if you see that one of these is equipped with a solar package, don't let the dealer also charge you for a battery that the factory already put on it that you're already paying for. And is it me? Or is that an awesome looking nose cap on the front of this? I like it. I think that looks it's a statement piece. Now, you might be going, yeah, but what about stones getting thrown in transit? Wouldn't that bust the thing up? When we get back into the junk in the trunk rear storage, you'll see it actually comes with a big cover to help protect that front windshield, which is, I don't see a lot of other manufacturers doing that. And if you're really looking at it, you might notice how you're not really seeing the seams of the nose cap. It's they've updated to more of a wrap around style cap, where it puts the seam on the sidewall, away from a high stress water direct hit area. Now, they are not riding on the industry standard chassis. This is a frame made by Norco. It's a huck bolted chassis. Every chassis maker says that theirs is the best and the strongest. I don't know. They all have claims. I don't have hard data. I'll let you decide what you want to go with and where your confidence is. I just want to tell you what's there and what's not. Power corner stabilizer jacks all the way around these, and under the countertop. There's that corner of the kitchen stuff that's like hard to get to. They actually slap an outdoor fridge here for you, which is kind of cool. But if you don't want it, it's just a couple screws, and you could always pop that out, just have an outside cargo cavity. But I rather like having Dad's medicine cabinet out here. That's the perfect place for the bottled water and the barley pop. And on a windy day like this, they do have a magnet holdback to keep that kind of in place. Actually, I'm gonna let that do its thing. They go with the double stable steps on this just for
They've kind of just adopted it for consistency's sake, just to use one step across, one step to rule them all, Lord of the Rings style. Except, unlike Lord of the Rings, where none shall pass, all shall pass up into the RV. I don't know. I'll work that out in my own time. That didn't pan out. Tankless on-demand water heater right here. By the way, it's a 60,000 BTU variety, which means whatever the temperature of the water is coming in from the park or from your freshwater tank, that on-demand water heater can raise that water temp by up to 59 degrees. So kind of keep that in mind. You may notice the Goodyear tires there. This is also a wide stance stability system, which on a longer RV like this can be a very nice thing for giving you a little bit better stability going down the road, but you should always have proper hitching regardless. That metallic rail off the side right there, that is where the included gas griddle would be located if you choose to use it. I left it stored in the junk in the trunk storage center here on the back so that you could get an idea of the scope and the scale for that. I would also mention that this does have a walkable roof. It's just ladder prepped. It doesn't include a factory ladder. But I want to talk about that roof. They are not using a membrane style roof, meaning not TPO, not PVC, not anything like that. It is a fiberglass roof cap on top of their fully walkable, wood decking roof construction system up here. It's new. I haven't, the jury's kind of out on the performance records of it, but from a conceptual standpoint, I feel pretty confident with it. Any existing owners who are out there who have had this system, I'd be kind of curious to know how you feel about it. Now, it doesn't have a full outside pass-through because, that's all running under the rear closet. On the left side, that's where your washer dryer prep is located, so they were not able to run that all the way through. Now, they don't have a rear bumper, but they do have a rear accessory receiver hitch, and if you notice, it also has the stinky slinky sewer tube holder going in with it. Also on the back here, all of your hookups, and I love how all the hookups on this are all located dedicated in that rear corner. That makes so much sense to me because that is the corner where most park hookups are going to be located. And I just as a practice, I don't like to end videos on a bummer, but I think this might be a two-headed sewer monster. By the way, these are both rack and pinion slides. Yep. So up front, you have your kitchen gray outlet. Back here, you have your bathroom black and gray. And then if you notice this other pipe right here, that is a direct dump outlet for the washer-dryer hookup. It does not have a dedicated gray holding tank for the washer-dryer unit. So if you're going to put a washer-dryer in it, you really, really are going to benefit from having on-site sewer, because otherwise there's nowhere for all that water to go. Now up front, you've got the kitchen gray outlet. What you might want to do here, again, very handy if you have on-site sewer, is have your, get it all hooked up before you open the slides, and then pull your gray valve so that your gray water just drains down. I don't love that solution, but I know a bunch of people that have done it and have said, you know what? It works just fine. So whether we call it Heritage Glen or we call it Hemisphere, I will leave you one link to the 270FKS to our website where you can always check pricing and availability on these. Wherever we have one parked, however it's optioned, whatever the shipping cost was, will all be individually reflected so you can always see real price tags right there. And to help you if you're like, I like this front kitchen, but do you have one a little bit shorter or lighter? I will leave you some links also to some other front kitchens that I've recorded, and let me know which one you'd go with and why. And short of that, thanks again for hanging out. Sorry it's such a windy day. Until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.